So, the various sources of broadcast news stories, that is what we are studying today. The first one is news services, and the second is wire feeds. Wire feeds or another news source. So, these are common from news services, but instead of being written, they are audio stories that journalists can tape and integrate into their newscast. That is, at a designated times of the day, forthcoming story topics and lengths are listed on a computer, and the news feeds are transmitted to subscribing stations. The journalists can tape any stories they want. Once the story is taped, journalists simply add the opening and closing to the story. So this is news feeds or wire feeds. The next is newspapers. Newspapers are actually an important source of information for the broadcaster, because frequently commercial broadcast stations have only one or two news reporters who do not have time to cover all stories in person. So thus they learn about many important events from a local newspaper. Broadcast journalists rewrite the story in broadcast time for newscast, giving credit to the newspaper. The next is public relations news releases. Public relations news releases. This is a news. It is the government and business, sometimes even business. They hire public relations practitioners to promote their image or product. News organizations are flooded with printed news release or even a video news releases announcing events or happenings, such as the promotion of an executive officer or the introduction of a new product line. So these will be flooding broadcast or news agencies. So news releases can be quite helpful on slow news days. The journalists can look to them for additional information about changes within the community or updates on local companies. So, ideally, the release should be regarded as a news tip to be followed up with background research and interviews with competing organizations or people with the opposite viewpoints. And the last one is people. Many good news tips come from people who call stations to give information about an event that has just happened or is about to happen. Some stations encourage these tips by advertising a telephone number. People can call with the news. Following up on all these tips with the good reporting techniques such as in-depth questions and research, they can broadcast these news stories in their station, and this can lead to more sources and interesting stories. And in addition, interviewing people about one subject can lead to tips and ideas and additional information or even additional subjects. So these are the commonly used sources by broadcast news, that is television or radio. News services via feeds, newspapers, news releases from public relations. The last one is people. The next is the next class we are going to study um, writing for the radio. So the types of broadcast news formats. This is what we are going to study in detail next class. Writing for radio.